He didn't flirt. He didn't chase. He barely even acknowledged her presence. Yet, she couldn't stop thinking about him. There are men women like, and then there are sigma males, men women become quietly obsessed with, often irrationally and without understanding why. These men don't seek attention. In fact, they vanish the moment the spotlight turns on. But here's the paradox: the more they disappear, the more unforgettable they become. According to recent psychological research on emotional imprinting, women are more likely to remember men who evoke emotional uncertainty than those who show clear interest. Simply put, it's not the loud, obvious guy who lingers in her mind, it's the one she couldn't decode. And that's exactly where the sigma male lives, in her curiosity, her confusion, and eventually, her craving. He's not pretending to be hard to get, he is hard to get, because he's genuinely immersed in a life that doesn't revolve around validation or approval. Ironically, that self-contained independence is precisely what draws women in. They start gravitating toward him, like a Wi-Fi signal they didn't know they needed until it vanished. So buckle up, because today, we're diving into 12 magnetic habits that make women desire the sigma male's attention, sometimes quietly, sometimes desperately. Just don't blame us if your inbox starts acting strange afterward. Let's get into it. Number 1, they're not afraid to leave a beautiful woman on read. Sigma males are not dazzled by beauty. They may notice it, appreciate it, even enjoy it, but they don't worship it. A pretty face doesn't override their standards or shake their composure. That's why ignoring a beautiful woman doesn't feel like a loss, it feels like alignment. If a conversation lacks depth, if her vibe feels off, or if her looks are the only thing she's bringing to the table, they'll simply disengage. No explanation. No drama. Just silence. And that silence? It stings more than an insult, especially for women used to constant attention, flattery, and double texts for saying the bare minimum. When a sigma male doesn't respond, it's not a game. It's not cruelty. It's clarity. He has no interest in rewarding superficial effort. His indifference isn't cold, it's calculated. Because while others chase after beauty, sigma males pursue substance, intelligence, awareness, character, and depth. So when a woman expects her looks to carry the interaction and is instead met with silence, her ego takes a hit. But her mind? It starts spiraling. Why didn't he reply? Did I mess up? Is he not attracted to me? Suddenly, he's living rent-free in her head, not because he manipulated her, but because he didn't validate her. This shift in dynamic, where she's no longer the center of attention, no longer being praised every few minutes, creates a strange, intoxicating desire. She has to try. She has to earn engagement. And that flips the script. He becomes the challenge. The one who saw past the packaging. The first man who didn't fall at her feet. And here's the irony, that calm indifference is often what draws her in deeper. Because in a world that rewards appearances, the man who doesn't, becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Number 2, their mystery becomes a psychological obsession. Sigma males don't give their thoughts away like freebies. Every word they say has weight. Every personal detail they share feels intentional. There's no rambling, no over-explaining. Just quiet presence and controlled expression. And that controlled silence? It messes with people's minds in the most addictive way, especially women. Most men try to connect quickly by oversharing, over-explaining, or pouring out their emotions too fast. But sigma males move differently. They reveal just enough to spark curiosity, but never enough to be fully understood. It's like getting a glimpse of a secret and being left wanting more. That restraint becomes a psychological drug. The less he says, the more she wants to know. The more she tries to figure him out, the deeper she falls. His mystery isn't fake or forced, it's a byproduct of his focus. He doesn't crave attention, and that very indifference commands it. Because the human mind doesn't obsess over what it fully understands. It obsesses over what it almost understands. Sigma males live in that gray area, where clarity never fully lands, and intrigue always lingers. And it's not about being cold. It's about emotional discipline. He doesn't hand over his energy to just anyone. His past, his mind, his emotions, you have to earn access to those parts. And when a woman senses that she has to work to get through those layers, she becomes emotionally invested before she even realizes it. By the time she's hooked, he's only revealed a fraction of himself. Not because he's hiding, but because he's selective. And that selectiveness creates a magnetic pull that no amount of words could ever replicate. Number 3, they don't mirror desires, they mirror souls. Sigma males don't throw compliments like party favors. They aren't chasing shallow validation or playing the classic say what she wants to hear routine. Instead, they operate on a different frequency, one that tunes into the subtle, often hidden layers of human behavior. They watch quietly, deliberately. They notice the overlooked. Not just how she dresses or smiles, but how her hands fidget when she's anxious. How her tone shifts when she talks about her past. What she avoids, what she craves, and what she's too afraid to say out loud. This level of attention feels almost surgical. Because when they finally speak, when they say something, it cuts deep. It's not random or rehearsed. It's real. It's eerily specific. The kind of insight that makes a woman feel not just seen, but exposed, in a way that doesn't hurt, but haunts. She suddenly realizes, he saw the part of me I've been hiding from everyone, even myself. And that kind of moment isn't cute, it's seismic. Sigma males don't mirror desires to manipulate, they reflect emotional truths. While most men mimic a woman's personality to gain favor, the Sigma male reflects her essence without even trying. One quiet comment, one steady look, and it shakes her. She's left wondering, how the hell did he see that? And the wildest part? He didn't say it to win points. He said it because it was true. Because he meant it. Because he was paying attention. That authenticity slices through the noise of cheesy flirting and Instagram boyfriend energy. He's not trying to charm her, he's trying to understand her. And that alone makes him unforgettable. Women don't easily walk away from that kind of encounter. Compliments fade. But being deeply understood, that lives in the bloodstream. It lingers. It rewires her standards. Because once a Sigma male sees through you like glass, you start noticing how many others only saw the surface. Number 4, their emotional control triggers cravings. A Sigma male in chaos is calmer than most men in comfort. And that calm isn't an act, it's earned. It's the result of brutal self-discipline, forged in silence and solitude. While most people react, panic, or spiral, the Sigma male remains centered. Grounded. Stoic. Even when life throws emotional grenades his way, he doesn't flinch. He absorbs, analyzes, and adapts. That emotional restraint? It's magnetic. Especially to women. Why? Because women have seen volatility. They've seen men blow up, break down, beg for attention, or become emotionally dependent. But the Sigma male gives none of that. He doesn't offload his stress onto others. He doesn't fish for pity or drown people in his problems. He handles his storms internally. And that level of composure plants a question in her mind. What would it take to truly shake this man? The more unbothered he seems, the more she wants to see what's underneath. His silence doesn't push her away, it pulls her in. Because unlike the man who wears his emotions on his sleeve, the Sigma male guards his like a locked vault. And when he does let something slip, just a glance, a sentence, a vulnerable moment, it feels like gold. Because it was earned. His validation isn't scattered like confetti. It's rare. It's deliberate. And when a woman finally receives it, a compliment, a look, a quiet gesture, it hits harder than any grand romantic speech. Because she knows. He didn't give it to everyone. He gave it to her. That's not coldness, it's control. That's not aloofness, it's strength. A Sigma male is anchored in his values. He doesn't need to shout to be heard. He doesn't need to break to feel loved. And that emotional discipline? It's addictive. It doesn't make women feel sorry for him, it makes them respect him. It doesn't make them question his masculinity, it makes them crave his attention. Because they know, if you can move a man like that, you must be something rare. Number 5, they refuse to be anyone's entertainment. Sigma males don't perform to win attention. They're not the guys telling exaggerated stories, cracking forced jokes, or working the room to feel validated. They don't need to be the loudest voice to be heard, or the most animated person to be respected. That entire "look at me" mindset? It's beneath them. While most men have been conditioned, by rejection, ego, or desperation, to entertain women as a way to keep their interest, Sigma males reject the entire game. They understand a core truth: if you're performing for approval, you're already placing yourself below the person you're trying to impress. So instead, they shift the dynamic. They enter a conversation with calm, grounded presence, not arrogant, not detached, just authentic. And that alone throws people off. Especially women, who are used to men bending over backward for attention. Suddenly, the script flips. She's leaning in. She's the one curious. She's the one trying to decode him. That doesn't make Sigma males dull. In fact, they're rich in personality, sharp, witty, insightful, but they only reveal it when it matters. They don't use charm as a trick. They let their essence speak. That subtlety makes every word land harder. It wasn't forced. It was felt. And when a man remains still while everyone else scrambles to entertain, it creates an unspoken pressure, a magnetic silence that pulls attention toward him. Women start trying harder, doing the chasing, craving the validation they're not getting. That's the real shift. The moment she realizes he's not trying to catch her, because he doesn't need to, is the moment she starts chasing someone she can't control. And that is where the real power begins. Number 6, they don't brag, they unfold in layers. Sigma males don't walk in the room advertising their worth. You won't hear them listing accomplishments, flashing wealth, or name-dropping connections. In fact, you might not even realize who you're dealing with until something subtle slips out. That's their strength, they reveal themselves in layers, not all at once. And that quiet control over what they share keeps people hooked. Especially women. Instead of unloading a highlight reel disguised as small talk, they offer fragments, sharp, intriguing glimpses. One moment he's just observing. The next, he casually mentions something that hits deeper than anything said before. Maybe it's a business insight. Maybe it's a rare book reference. Either way, it never feels forced. It feels precise. That precision builds curiosity. Suddenly, she's leaning forward, not because he impressed her, but because she needs to know more. And that's the trap. Not one set by manipulation, but by mystery. While most men overshare, oversell, and overcompensate, the Sigma male holds back. And that restraint? That subtle discipline? It's rare. It's powerful. It feels dangerous, in the most attractive way. Because now, it's not just about looks or status. It's about unlocking something that wasn't handed over easily. Every layer feels earned. Every new reveal feels intimate. By the time she realizes how deep his waters run, she's already invested, hooked not by performance, but by presence. And he's still sitting there in silence, only revealing what he chooses. That's not arrogance. That's control. That's power. And it's addictive. Number 7, they walk away without noise or negotiation. Sigma males don't do chaos. No yelling, no guilt tripping, no dramatic exits. When it's time to go, whether it's a relationship, a conversation, or just an environment that no longer aligns, they don't announce it. They simply leave. Quietly. Decisively. No need for explanations, no desperate goodbyes. And that kind of exit? It lingers. For women who are used to controlling the emotional tempo, to getting closure, apologies, or second chances, it's disorienting. The Sigma male doesn't argue. He doesn't plead. He doesn't ghost to punish, he just vanishes like he was never emotionally tethered in the first place. And that silence hits hard. At first, she's confused. Then offended. Eventually, haunted. Because deep down, she realizes, he didn't stay out of fear or weakness. He stayed because it aligned with his values. And the second it didn't, he was already gone, internally. Emotionally resolved before the door ever closed. That kind of internal clarity is rare. And rare things leave echoes. Now she's replaying every word, every moment, wondering what she missed. Wondering if she ever had him at all. And that question, the one without an answer, is what keeps her awake. He didn't leave a mess. He left a void. A clean departure with no noise doesn't just end a chapter, it rewrites the whole book in her memory. Number 8, they see through women, not just at them. Most men freeze in the presence of beauty. They trip over compliments, get hypnotized by curves, and lose themselves trying to impress. Their gaze is stuck on the surface, eyes tracing her body, mind blurred by attraction. But the Sigma male? He's different. He doesn't get lost in looks. He doesn't respond to beauty like it's magic. He observes, calmly, silently, deeply. He's not looking at her, he's looking through her. Past the lipstick, past the flotation, past the performance. He sees the person underneath. What drives her? What scares her? What she's hiding behind that confident posture. And the way he sees her, it's not invasive, but it's piercing. It's not sexual by default, it's psychological. She feels exposed, but not physically. Emotionally. It's like someone just cut through the image she spent years perfecting, and now he's sitting quietly with the raw truth of who she is. That kind of attention isn't just rare, it's unsettling. Most women are used to being looked at. Desired. Fantasized over. But understood? Truly seen? That's something else entirely. The Sigma male catches the tremble in her voice when she lies. The hesitation when something's off. The flicker in her eyes when he strikes a nerve. And he says nothing, until he does. And when he finally speaks, it's not flattery, it's precision. He says something so real, so sharp, it slices right through her defenses. No manipulation. No need to impress. Just pure, grounded insight. That kind of energy stays with her, long after the conversation ends. Because once a woman has been seen like that, surface-level interest will never be enough again. Number 9, they radiate lone wolf royalty. Sigma males don't enter a room seeking approval. They don't scan the crowd for validation or try to impress anyone. They carry themselves with the quiet assurance of someone who built his own kingdom from the ground up. Their presence speaks of earned authority, not borrowed confidence. There's something regal in the way they sit, speak, and choose when, or if, to engage. It's not loud. It's not arrogant. It's sovereign. They don't announce their strength, they embody it. You won't hear them boast about being an alpha, they don't need the label. Their calm decisiveness, their refusal to chase attention, and their comfort in solitude all exude a natural dominance. To the outside world, it looks effortless. To women, it's magnetic. There's no neediness in their energy, no desperation to be liked. Instead, there's a quiet statement in their vibe, I am already complete. And for women used to being pursued, that flips the entire script. Suddenly, she's the one who wants to earn his attention. Sigma males don't posture, they don't need to. Their power comes from discipline, clarity, and complete emotional independence. They don't seek to dominate others, they simply don't need them. But ironically, this detachment commands the room. And when a woman feels that, she wants in. Not because he asked, but because being around him makes everything else feel trivial by comparison. He doesn't wear a crown. He doesn't need one. His silence, his self-possession, is his royalty. And that doesn't just attract attention, it commands it. Number 10, they let women create their own obsession. Sigma males don't chase, over-explain, or try to impress. They remain calm, quiet, and mysterious, and that silence becomes a mirror. Women fill that silence with their own thoughts, doubts, and fantasies. Because when a man says little but stands strong, the mind fills in the blanks. His calm becomes intrigue. His distance becomes a challenge. Every glance or pause becomes something to overanalyze. He's not playing games, he's just being himself, observant, self-contained, and selective. But in a world obsessed with attention, his restraint feels rare and valuable. And here's the quiet trick, he doesn't sell a fantasy. He lets her create it. And once she does, she's already emotionally hooked. Number 11, they don't chase connection. They let it find them, or not. Sigma males don't seek out emotional highs or try to create chemistry. They're not scanning the room for the one. Their energy is grounded, detached, and uninterested in shallow sparks. They see connection as something real, or nothing at all. And if it doesn't click, they walk away without drama or doubt. No chasing, no molding themselves to be liked. This clarity is powerful. Unlike most men who perform when attracted, Sigma males wait, observe, and let true resonance reveal itself. And that quiet self-assurance flips everything. Women feel the shift. They don't feel pursued, they feel evaluated. And suddenly, they're the ones wanting to earn his attention. Because he doesn't try to stand out. He just stands still, and still gets noticed. Number 12. They live like nobody's watching, which makes everyone watch. Sigma males don't perform for the crowd. They don't tailor their lives for applause. They don't dress to impress, post for likes, or talk just to be admired. Everything they do flows from who they truly are, not from who they want others to believe they are. That raw, unapologetic authenticity? It's rare. In a world obsessed with being seen, the man who doesn't care to be seen becomes magnetic. Here's the paradox, when a man moves through life without needing an audience, everything about him feels real. If he's quiet, it's not a persona. If he's intense, it's not theater. If he's kind, it's not strategy. And women sense that instantly. They feel it in their bones, because so many people fake it when they want to be liked. So when a Sigma male moves independently of that need for validation, it sends a signal straight to the subconscious. This one's different. And that difference? It sticks. Suddenly, women are checking his socials, rereading his texts, paying attention to his silences. Not because he's flashy, but because he's not. There's no look at me energy. There's only quiet mystery. An unspoken question, what drives him? What's behind those eyes? And the deeper they search, the more elusive he becomes. He doesn't hand over easy answers. He doesn't beg for followers. He doesn't package his life in layers of filtered perfection. While the world puts on a show, the Sigma male simply lives. And somehow, that makes him the most captivating man in the room. Women don't understand it at first. But they feel it. They feel drawn to him. Even when he hasn't said a word. Even when he hasn't offered a single compliment. He's not a secret, but he feels like one. That's the magic of living without performance. It makes him unforgettable, without even trying. For women used to being pursued, the Sigma male is a psychological cliffhanger. A story left unfinished in their minds. Because he doesn't follow the rules of attraction, he bends them just by being. While most men try to impress, prove, or perform, the Sigma male stays in his lane. Quiet. Grounded. Unbothered. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't beg for affection. He doesn't even need to raise his voice. His energy does the talking. Everything about him, his emotional control, his unpredictability, his silence, challenges the norm. And that challenge? It's intoxicating. Women don't just like Sigma males. They become obsessed. Not because of charm, looks, or effort, but because of psychological gravity. He makes them work to understand him. He makes them question themselves. He makes silence feel louder than words. In a world full of noise, that silence becomes unforgettable. While others fight to be remembered, the Sigma male remains a riddle. And that riddle? It lingers. It haunts. Not because he tried to leave a mark, but because he didn't need to. If this spoke to something deep inside you, don't just scroll. Hit that subscribe button, because this isn't your typical content. This is where the masks come off. Where truth hits different. Where clarity cuts through the noise. Like the video if you're tired of cliches and finally ready for real insight. Drop a comment, which Sigma trait hit the hardest? Which one felt uncomfortably true? And share this with someone who thinks they know what attraction means. Until they meet a Sigma. This isn't hype. This is clarity. You're part of it now. So stay sharp. Stay uncommon. And we'll see you in the next one.